Hi everyone, welcome back. So the funniest thing just happened. So working on my Vauxhall Zafira GSI at the moment. We just jacked the car up, or we were jacking the car up on the yeah, exactly that. That's got something to do with that. So we were just jacking up the car on the ramp. Just as it was going up, we heard this like metal clonking somewhere. Mark went to the back of the car and he looked at one side, nothing. He looked at the other side and there's a spring just lying on the floor. So we're like, what the hell? So anyway, he's gone underneath the car and the back spring, like the coil spring, was literally just lying on the floor. Broken on both parts. Where is it, man?
It's just down
Where's
there.
the spring?
It's just down there.
Oh yeah, right next to me. So look. Broken? Not broken. Top and bottom broken. I'm not surprised that it's, fallen apart. Anyway. So yeah, good start to the day. Well, we were actually planning on doing the thing today. There's no need to remove the wheels, by the way.
You said just take the wheels off.
No. I said there is no need to remove them.
Oh, good stuff. Okay, I'll put you back on there.
Well, not for now anyway. Until we sort out this oil leak, then after that we'll sort out the springs afterwards.
Alright, cool.
Probably not today. Anyway, so the idea of today's job was to sort out the oil leak that I've got on the oil sump. So that's basically the reason we just jacked it up. And I was just looking around for the engine support bar that I've got. Oh, there it is. Just spotted it. And I was thinking we can get on with that. And he just heard this massive clonk. I'm like, what the hell? And I realised the car was actually sitting lower on one side. I didn't really pay attention to where it was coming from. It's my own car, so I'm not that fussed about it. So I thought, even Mark's like laughing his head off.
Shaking my head, darling.
Yeah. Doesn't matter. It is what it is. No harm was done in this video. No. Anyway, so basically that's the day's job. And in the next few days, I'll be doing the shocks, springs, front wishbones, front anti-roll bar drop links, this oil leak, which is a quite serious oil leak, so we'll need to address that out as soon as possible. Because I'm topping up like so much oil throughout the month, probably like almost 2 litres of oil sometimes. It's a serious leak. But I'm just doing an oil change every now and then, quite frequently, just without the filter. Doesn't matter. So yeah, let's crack on, get on with it, and we'll show you the whole process of doing the oil sump. So for this oil sump to be removed, we need to support the engine. Look, I'll spin you around. Right, hold on, let me switch off the light as well. Right, here we go. So the engine mount is just below the air filter here. There it is. There. So that's got to be just unbolted. It can stay in situ, but it just has to be unbolted. As you can tell, there's 3 bolts there and 1 on either side. So if you just look, there's one of them, and then there's the other one on the left. So this is a Z20 LET engine, so it's a Z20 LET engine. And the reason we got to undo the engine mount on this side is because we have to jack the engine up so that we can remove the sump, because it doesn't have enough clearance because of the because of the subframe that supports the engine. Does it support the engine? No, it doesn't actually. It's more for the wishbones and stuff actually. That's what it supports. So because of that, I don't really want to mess about with the subframe, and the reason is because it's rotted. The bolt is quite rotted, some on both sides I think, so I don't really fancy dealing with that at the moment. So the idea is to jack up the engine on one side, support it. Once it's supported, we can remove. There's 2 gaskets on the sumps of these. It's split into half, so you've got a bottom half and a mid half kind of thing. So you've got 2 gaskets, so we need to remove both sections. And I've also got to do an oil change, obviously, because if you don't, pointless exercise. So we'll drain the oil first. Once we've drained the oil, then we can drain the oil, jack the engine up, remove the sump, clean it all up, all the surfaces, all the mating surfaces. We've got all the new gaskets, and remove the oil filter as well. Once that's all removed, then we can put the new gaskets on, put it all back together, and then put fresh oil and oil filter in, which I've got loads of. So yeah, I always keep them in stock, you know. Right, onwards and upwards. Whoop whoop. So cracking on with this oil sump change on my, or sump gasket change on my Vauxhall Zafira GSI. So I'll show you how bad this leak is. Let me flip you around. Right, so as you can tell, it is just smothered in oil everywhere.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's really bad. Sump is definitely leaking. There might even be something else that's leaking, because if you look up there, there's loads of oil. Maybe it's a camshaft seal or something. That could also be a possibility. I mean, look at the oil literally everywhere. Yeah, literally it's just covered in oil as far as you can see. Subframes covered in oil. I think the filter might even be leaking. Oil filter, that's also a possibility. And recently my flexi, as you can tell, has been replaced with the original, because the original one was literally snapped off. So I definitely had to get a replacement. I mean, as a temporary fix, kind of. You can do this. It's not leaking. It's not blowing anywhere. It's actually quite good. It's just a straight section with 2 clamps. Job done. It's much cheaper than going for the original equipment. Oh, I just realised there's loads. I think the wow. Okay. Holy crap! This oil leak is just worse than I thought. I think. It is literally all over the gearbox as well. What's this? That's not bad. That bush. The bush at the back is dead though. That is definitely shot to pieces. And that's the reason why this flexi went in the first place, because the engine mount here, which is aka a dog bone, that is shot to pieces also. So yeah, poor car has been neglected, that's for sure. But it's now getting the treatment it deserves. So yeah, carrying on. Whoop whoop. So you join me under the car with the Zafira's oil sump gasket replacement. So I'll spin you around and show you why it was leaking. Right, there we are. There's Mark. Hello, Mark.
Hold down here.
I know, right? So there was 0 gasket left, basically. If you look at the mating surface on the actual sump, this is the bottom half of the sump, you'll see there is no gasket, nothing at all. And the same thing, even if there was a gasket, there was nothing of it. I can see just the little thing there, a little bit of a gap. But is that meant to be a gasket? That's a strange gasket. If it is a gasket. But either way, leaking like hell. There's nothing up there. Literally no gasket. So, not surprised it was leaking. Need to clean this all up, including this oil strainer. Drain the oil. There was no particles in the oil, which is great. And now we're going to remove the second half of the sump. This we're going to attempt, and this is the point where we've got to jack the engine. So we're going to do that next, and then we'll show you. Whoop, whoop. Right, so continuing on with this Zafira GSI sump gasket replacement. We've now supported the engine, so we'll show you what it looks like. So this is the engine support bar. It goes across the wings, so it's supported, as you can tell there, on the wings. That's where it sits. You have this chain which is connected to a hook, the engine support bar on the engine. There's actually 3 points on this. Strangely, I would have liked one here. Would have been much better. Anyway, so we've undone the 3 bolts, 1, 2, and 3, and we don't have to remove the engine mount. It can just stay in situ. It's fine, because we're only going to jack it up. So in a minute, I'm going to readjust this chain so that it supports better. Put it on tension, and then we are good to just jack up the engine. We can actually jack it up from here. Just keep on turning this handle and it will raise it up. So yeah, that's that for now, and we'll let you know when we go underneath the car again. Whoop, whoop. So just give you a quick update. Let's show you. So what we had to do is put these 2 bits of wood from the panel onto the support bar, and the reason is, as we were putting a weight onto this bar, it was pulling the whole frame this way, so it basically weren't doing its job properly. And now you can tell it's actually off the it's off the frame, so you see there's a gap there. So now it's actually okay. This was definitely Mark's idea, so it's a good idea, because then it saves us messing about. Yeah. Whoop, whoop. Right, so to update you guys where we are so far, we've got the engine supported from above of the support bar, and undone the engine mount, but we didn't remove it. It's just still in position. Now we're going to flip it around and show you what's going on underneath. So I had to remove this bottom front engine mount. It's got 2 E18 bolts, one there, so it's these 2 holes here, and then it sits there like that, normally like that. This is a 16mm headed bolt and a nut system, so nuts on the other side, bolts on this side. Just got to loosen it, you don't have to remove it, and then it will just dangle out of the way. There are 3, 1, 2 and 3 bolts that go through these holes, and they bolt to the side of the sump. They are 15mm in size, and that's it for those ones. And then we just swing myself around. Right, there's no more those. So those are part of the bell housing, and then you have loads of I think they're E12s. So you'll see, have a look here, there's just loads of bolts. There are 3-4 different size bolts, so you've got to remember where they go. That's important, because obviously some are much longer than others, therefore it's not going to actually go in that hole. And I just realised I need to re-record this. Right, hi. So basically we're carrying on with the removal of the Zafira GSI oil sump gasket removal, so we can replace the gasket. So far we've got the engine supported above with a support bar. We removed the 3 bolts that hold the engine mount to the chassis, so that's done. And we've just jacked up the engine, so nowhere underneath. So far we've drained the oil from the drain pan, from the sump, so we've got rid of that. Removed the lower sump pan, which is much smaller than the second sump pan, oil sump I should say, pan, yeah, you see. And then I'll show you what else we've done. So remove the engine mount, which is the lower front engine mount. This is, it has 2 E18 bolts, and this is a 16mm bolt with a nut on the other end, so you just have to undo it so that it swings like this, because otherwise it catches the edge of the sump. Now there are 3 bolts, 1, 2, 3, 15mm headed bolts, and there are lots of E-Torx bolts like this. I believe these are E12s, and there are E10s as well. So the smaller bolts are E10s, bigger bolts are, and there are some really long bolts as well, like this one. I think this is the one that goes through the sump into the engine block. So this engine is just covered in oil everywhere. This oil has been leaking for a very long time, and I know it has. It just got worse and worse and worse. Just haven't got round to doing it, working on other people's cars. So yeah, it's been very busy. You know, touch wood, can't complain. Definitely not a complaint there. So we are almost in the process of about to literally remove it. It's about to come off. I don't think any bolts are holding it. It's just caught on the subframe here. So either I've got to jack up the engine a little bit more, which I'm not going to do yet, so I don't want it to drop. So also this sensor here is the sensor for oil level sensor. But if you look at the cable here, it's a little bit not perished or ripped, but it's not the actual cable, it's the outer bit. However, this does feel very brittle, so at some point it might actually snap. And it's the actual plug is up here, and it's also covered in oil, which makes me think maybe that's the seal on that is leaking too, so I'm gonna have to replace that as well. And this plug is the plug sensor. This the oil level sensor plug. So you have to unplug this by pushing these two tabs, these little tabs. Push them both in, one on each side. Look, I'll show you there. And then once that's done, it's literally ready to come off. There are some bolts on the inner side as well, so you need to pay attention to those as well. Nearly there. So yeah, hold on. Put my finger in the camera. Anyway, whoop whoop. Right, so just gonna give you a quick heads up on a few other bits and bobs on the other side of the engine. So I'll show you. Right. So we are on the driver's side now, and there is the aircon pipe, which is this silver pipe that goes from here to there. Now that stops you from removing the sump. So there are two bolts that are holding it in position. One is just there, there. So it's a E10, that one, and then there's another E. Hold on, where is it? There. 1 second. This is the sensor plug for, or plugs. Yeah, the sensor level sensor plug. This is. So it's just next to that. There's the hole there. You can just about see it. And that one was a E14 or a 12. I can't remember for sure. Don't quote me on it. Right. So now, we have got the sump off. There it is. It is caked in oil, and there's oil everywhere, literally. This is the engine mount covered in oil. Plug up here covered in oil. Oil everywhere up there. Oil on the gearbox, bell housing everywhere. So there's just oil everywhere, literally. So we'll have to clean all these parts and spray the whole area with brake and clutch cleaner. You can see all the surface and stuff everywhere, just oil everywhere. So I've got to remove this oil strainer as well. I've removed these two bolts, which is one here and one there, but it's not enough to remove the whole strainer. There are two more bolts, one there and one on the other side. I don't know what size they are yet. They look like 10, yeah, they look like 10 mil normal socket size. So I've removed that as well, and the idea of removing this is to clean it, because we've actually found some debris in it, which is oh lovely, just triggered the oil leak. Excellent. So this tells you how much crap is actually in that, so that's definitely got to be cleaned out properly. I'm glad I've done this, because if I hadn't, I wouldn't have cleaned this out, and it would have probably killed my engine at some point very soon actually. So anyway, and that's pretty much it for now. After this, it's just a matter of lots of cleaning all this surface, getting rid of the old gasket, because I believe the gasket is still there. Yeah, there we go. You can, there it is. There's the old gasket. So we've got to rip that out. Clean both of the gaskets. That's the upper gasket. That's the upper sump. And got to clean out the lower sump as well,
and then clean off both of the mating surfaces, or 3 of them. So you've got one mating surface here, surface even, which this is the main one for the engine. So there's that one, which is the higher end of the top sump. Yeah, that's the surface mate. I can't even speak. That's the top surface of the higher sump. That's it, higher sump. Yeah, and then the lower one is somewhere over there in that. Actually, it's there, in there. So yeah, plenty of cleaning to do, and we'll be back in touch once we've cleaned it all up and we're ready to fit it all together. Yeah. Whoop. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Right, so just going to show you a few bits that we found as we've been working on my Zafira, removing the oil sump gaskets and the oil sump itself. So some 2 parts, and I'll show you exactly what's what. And this is what happens when you don't change oil regularly. However, I have been doing it personally, but the person who had it before me clearly hasn't looked after the car at all. So let's show you. Spin you around. Right, so this is the top. This is the higher part of the sump, the top part of the sump. So this is the bell housing end onto the gearbox end, and this is your level sensor. And look at the residue of old oil across the whole place. Literally, look at the crud, the build up. It's just like what's that stuff you put on the road? Asphalt.
Oh, asphalt, yeah, tarmac.
Yeah, tarmac. It's just like tarmac. Look at the state of it. So this is my parts cleaner, which we got from SGS parts, or whatever they're called. SGS Performance, SGS something engineering. That's it. SGS Engineering. I love that company. They're so good. Not sponsored, but look at the state of it. It's just caked in oil everywhere. But I think we might have to replace the seal for this sensor. Saying that, I'll probably get a new sensor anyway, because the old sensor was covered in actually, hold on, where is it? I'll show you. Somewhere along here. Can you just hold the...
Yeah, okay.
So there's the old sensor, but if you look at the wiring, it's all cracked and stuff. Like, it's very brittle, very hard, and that's going to snap at some point without a doubt. So I would rather than trying to remove the sump later on and disturbing the new gasket that I'm going to fit, might as well do it now. So tomorrow's Monday, right? Yeah. So yeah, what I'll do is tomorrow I'll order, or tonight I'll order the right one if I can find it somewhere. If not, then car spares might have to come to my saviour. We'll see. Anyway, so this is the top top one. So I'll remove this one and put it in the... Just hold that for a sec, please. I'll put this in the wash, in the pan, in the parts washer. So that's that. Now I'll show you the strainer, the inside of the strainer, right? Look at it, man. The amount of crap that's in there, crud and silicone and whatever else that's been used, maybe on the rocker cover gasket or something, or even in this gasket. Yeah, there's a gasket there still. I can feel it. That's definitely a gasket there. So this is the lower sump. So it's just quite little sump versus the highest, the other sump. So what we're going to do is we're going to soak these in the bath overnight and drain it in the morning and see what it does. And basically what Mark's doing at the moment is cleaning the pickup, but we can still push air through this hole, and then basically pump it out the other end. So that's the idea. There's no point of doing it, mate.
No, honestly. I'm just trying to move it, free it up. Yeah,
we will free up once we put compressed air through it, but we'll soak it overnight first, and then yeah. So that's basically where we're at. In a minute we're going to call it a night and carry on tomorrow, let the parts soak overnight, and yeah, that's the plan for now. Yeah, it is so much worse than I expected. There's a lot of cleaning to do, a lot of cleaning. So I'm glad I'm doing it. Need to replace that level sensor. Need to replace the oil filter. That's another thing I haven't removed actually. I haven't removed the old oil filter yet, so I'll have to do that as well in a minute. So yeah, that's it for now. We'll be back in touch with you soon, but for us tomorrow. Whoop whoop.